Welcome to Bit Storm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and I don't have Ben or anyone else with me this week. It's going to be another small episode that Ben and I recorded before he went off to Canada. Please enjoy. 3, 2, 1, click.
Mailed.
Ventricle.
Okay, so this is about the postage system through the human body. This is how different organs communicate via postage, the postal service.
So this is like old-timey body before like electronic communication was...
Yeah, the best way to talk to someone is to send a letter. And so you've got the hemoglobin express that picks up your mail from the liver and, you know, takes it to the left pinky to his mate there. And so is it a game that's all based on what goes on in the heart, and in this particular... Well, of course, everything the heart...
You're in the left ventricle.
Well, yeah, the heart is the sorting center, right? Like, everything goes through the heart, and it pumps it back out into the rest of the body. So, when, you know, left kneecap needs to send a love letter to the malignant tumor in the brain, then... It fires off, it writes it up, pushes it out into the bloodstream. One of the hemoglobin grabs it. So, and I think you play someone in the sorting center, and there's some sort of, it could be teaching you anatomy. You need to send it in the right direction to know, that if it's going to the femur, which way that is.
What is a femur? And it doesn't actually tell you.
No, it just says to white blood cell number 3,527 in the left femur.
Oh, awesome. And you
Jeffrey
send it down here, and it's like, no, that was the right leg. Ah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to kind of guide it through. You've just got a bunch of different directions you can send it in. And you got a couple of different levers that you can pull to send it down different different pathways. Exactly. You sort of start learning. I guess maybe you get some sort of map or some sort of view of where it actually ends up, so that you can learn what levers do what to send it in which direction. But
I'm just imagining, it's sort of like a puzzle game in which early levels is like you're sending one message down to this one area. So you've placed it in this particular exit. So there's, say, 4 exits. You got one towards the top of the body, 2 towards the bottom, and I don't know, one at the back or something like that. But you've got
Was that on purpose? Because that's about the exits my body has.
I'm talking about out of the heart.
I know. Just it's like, oh yeah, there's a couple exits down here. There's one that sometimes stuff comes out the exit at the top.
What 2 exits have you got at the front that is also a 3rd exit? Because there's one going out the back.
Do you have one of those?
No, you have 2 penises. So I'm imagining that maybe it's a VR game in which you've got to pull levers at a certain time to actually create blockages in the valves to send the message down. But of course, at early levels, you've got one message that you're sending.
Right.
At later ones, depending on which lever you pull, it may actually cause 2 different things to happen.
Did you say you're creating blockages to send it the right direction?
Yeah.
Okay. So at what point does these become fatal blood clots and kill your host?
That's the thing. Right. This is a puzzle game, and you've got a life meter, and maybe a cholesterol meter, and you've got
And so some of these messages that you're sending affect the body in different ways. Like, one of the messages is to the stomach to say, tell
I'm hungry.
Well, or the opposite, like, I'm full. And if you don't get it there, then they overeat, and like, their cholesterol builds up. And that means that there's less, like, you can hold that lever down now for less time before that blood clot becomes fatal.
Yeah. And then you've got maybe the message was actually, no, you need to purge. There was poison in there, but the message didn't get there, and so therefore you start losing life a lot quicker until. And
then the messages really start flying. Because the liver's trying to process it, and the heart has to pump a bit faster. So your whole environment just like gets more hectic. Your time limits go down. You got to figure out a way to, because now it's Now it's the brain sending messages to the hands to say, call 911. You got to really make sure those ones get there. And it's not just a single message. Like the way the body works is it's send one message for 9, send one for 1, send one for 1. You better make sure they all get there in the right order. But shit, also, I dialed 191. Damn it.
but also it's the individual muscles get different messages.
Oh God, how complex are we going to go?
That's the hard mode.
Right.
The reason why I thought that we have to create little blockages to get it going down the right area and then, undo those blockages is because otherwise you'll just send it down the exit and it just gets there. Or it goes to the wrong place just because of luck.
Yeah, no, I know.
You've got to.
There's got to be some gameplay in there for sure. Yeah, no, I don't worry, I'm on board. I'm on board with creating blood clots to send messages. I like it. I don't quite know exactly how it would work. Like, do you have to sort of see a map of the different paths and like branches?
Well, as I said, it was VR, so you've got, say, 4 or 5 different levers in front of you.
Yeah, and like maybe big screens around you that you have to look at to...
You've got big screens that, you can see, say, the left leg off to the left side, and then further left is the left arm, and then... towards the center is obviously the torso and
so you see the different branching paths in there. You kind of have to.
So you got to try and put it together as to okay, I'm exiting the torso, going to this leg.
Yeah.
Okay, and
but you have to be watching the other messages that are also heading through the body at any particular time. Or you've got those 3 messages going down to the right hand 911. But if you,
I've got to delay that.
Well, yeah, maybe this person's a bit dyslexic, so you have to make sure you have to actually send they send it down as 191, and you have to send that first one down a different path that's going to get there a little bit later than that 9 or than the other 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good.
Read one click. Quarry.
Physical
quarry.
Physical quarry.
Okay, so again, it's a VR game.
All right.
And you're just working at a quarry.
Well, hang on, because a quarry could also be like when you're hunting, your prey is like your quarry, right?
Okay.
That's another definition for the term quarry. So let's choose. They're both good. I'm just saying that's an option. Or maybe it's a combination and you're being hunted through a quarry. By a serial killer. No, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just looking through dictionary things. I'm like, okay, it's only really saying an excavation or pit. I was like...
Definition 2, physical quarry. Well, I mean, yeah, so physical, we kind of want it to be VR, room scale. Maybe there is maybe it is a hunting game where you're playing the hunter, but it's one of these VR games where, look, you're not directly, it's more that your head is the camera and your hands, you're sort of puppeteering in a sense, the characters. And so maybe you're playing like a hawk, and so you have to like control it through the air and watch for prey, watch for your quarry to chase it down, but you have to fly in certain ways so that it doesn't see your shadow fly overhead or come at it from a certain direction or something. Maybe you just get to play all these different hunting animals. Like you get to play wolves. Maybe you get to play a wolf pack. Maybe like you've got 2 or at least 2 wolves at once and they can work together to corner your quarry in a quarry. No, I don't know. I just like this idea of sort of your hands directly controlling, or I guess it couldn't be directly controlling because you can move your hands a whole lot faster than animals could move through space, but at least sort of guiding with your hands.
Okay, so it's a 3D version of that flight path game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a 3D version of that, in which you're going, okay, Hawk, you're going to go this way and come around this side. Wolfpack, you're going to come around here, and you're using
hand movements through space.
Hand movements to basically
that
say
could be
you're
cool.
going this
It's
way.
almost like a real-time strategy game with hunting animals. So yeah, it's that you are controlling a bunch of animals at one time, but to tell them where to go, you basically, you kind of reach up, select them in a sense, and then guide their path, like move your hand through space to guide the path that they're going to take. That's actually really cool. I really like the physicality of that. Like, that would be really fun to do.
And I'm imagining, as you said, room scale. So the camera is only moved by
your head.
You moving.
Yeah.
Well, you walking around this
exactly.
area. So you got this rather large area. So you can get around to get down low to have a look at the ground and that sort of stuff.
I haven't seen enough of that in VR where it literally is you have this sort of God view over like a space that just feels like a physical space that, you can get right down into it and to see from that perspective.
When you're drawing a path, you can literally draw it, in depth as well.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You want him to dive down. You dive down and you go, this is where I think the bunny rabbit's going to be. So you draw that down, X amount of, leading the target.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe it's just that they've got a certain sort of range, like a radius that as long as it and the target are in that radius at the same time and maybe coming at it from the right direction or something, it'll like do its attack. And
so is it a single player game?
I think so. What I was thinking actually is it could almost be a bit of a narrative game, a bit of like I don't know. I was thinking that, you've got these kind of teams, these different hunting animals, these predators that all come together for some purpose, right? They have to team up. So maybe it's a sort of, it starts and you're in this forest and, you get introduced to each of these different animals one by one. So there's a wolf pack. There's a hawk of some kind. I don't know what else. Like a fucking, mountain lion.
Oh yeah. A bear.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe it's this sort of thing where the humans are like encroaching on their habitat. And so they have to team together to start. I mean, initially, and the first few levels are, you do get introduced to each one and to their abilities and to the gameplay mechanics of, obviously for the hawk, you're drawing these great gliding paths through the air. For the land-based animals, it's, you're restricted to drawing them, close to the ground, obviously, but it's about cover and it's about scent and it's about, maybe you can sort of see the way the wind's going and make sure that you stay downwind.
But also the terrain,
exactly.
You've got to follow the terrain as you do it. What I'm imagining is, you can also using sort of pinching mechanics, of pulling out to
zoom in and out or
zoom in and out and all that sort of stuff. You can actually, you can zoom the whole thing in, so you can change your scale to be nice and small, but you can still then walk around that small little area that you zoomed it down into, or you can go right back out to
view the whole space.
To view the whole space, so you can zoom into another little area.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how. Well. I think the sort of RTS mechanics probably can't be too micromanagey in a game like this. It's more about general positioning. Maybe you want the 2 or 3 wolves to kind of flank your prey so that it runs away towards the fucking grizzly bear that's waiting for it, right? In the gap between the rocks or something.
Yeah. So are they like a community that are actually helping each other? So
I think that they initially, I think there's a narrative. I think they get to know each other. I think it's all like, I don't know. I can picture it as a movie where these like fucking talking animals, kind
of like over
come
the hedge
together.
sort of thing.
Yeah. Or I'm thinking more serious. Like, I guess I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But what came to mind is like Watership Down or like fucking Homeward Bound sort of thing, right? Like where it's, I don't know. It's just these animals having to band together, but they can talk to each other.
Okay. I like it.
And eventually they obviously take out the humans who are, I don't know, logging their fucking forest. It can be an environmentalist message. Very important.
So you can have, really, really old humans sort of like in Renaissance times, and then you can have newer humans as you go on in the story.
Oh, you think it actually goes over time?
Yeah, it's a story of like different ancestors. And
okay.
Then you can have different levels of humans as well.
Right. I wasn't thinking that sort of level of time frame. I was thinking specific animals.
Oh, because I like the idea of seeing like a bear trap and that sort of stuff, and you got to make sure that the bear doesn't go anywhere near to that.
I don't know if you need to do different time frames to get to there though.
No, okay.
I just feel like if we're doing a narrative, I think it'd be better if we're sticking with the single characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, cool. I like it. I really like those mechanics. VR has so much potential for, for interesting game mechanics like that haven't really been done before.
And we don't have a VR headset, which really sucks.
Oh, yeah. But whatever, we're not developers anyway.
Yeah, but I want a headset.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because when this game comes out, I still wouldn't be able to play it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
Daring.
Lifeguard.
Okay. All right, lifeguard game. That's interesting.
So, lifeguard simulator.
Well, it depends how comical you want to go. Like, I feel like the simulator games are often very sort of serious and straightforward. I was almost thinking again of kind of a time-based puzzle game where all these fucking useless swimmers just keep drowning and you have to like prioritize how you get to them and who you get to first, and I don't know.
Okay, so are you a lifeguard at a swimming pool or at a beach?
Depends what level you're on.
I think the easy level is like the
easy level is like the top of the pool.
And then, the hard level is like you've actually got to go, okay, the rip is here, so therefore put the flags here, and then
Watch
you're
out
picturing where all these other people are.
Yeah, you've got fucking 50 people out there swimming, different distances away, you have to gauge how strong a swimmer they are and as to how closely you might have to watch them. You've got kids running around. You've got distractions like people, assholes throwing sand at you, or so that one little girl who made that really awesome sandcastle that you can't take your eyes off.
You've got like fights going on up the beach between two minority groups.
Yeah, sure. Because they're playing cricket together, so it's
they're playing
beach cricket.
So minority groups in this case can be like Australia versus New Zealand or Australia versus England on this particular beach.
I don't think it matters who they are. But yeah, you could have fights going on, or the beach cricket gets out of hand and someone hits it badly and a cricket ball flies towards your head.
Or you weren't watching where you were going, you got smacked in the face by a cricket bat.
Yeah, definitely. So we think, what sort of, like, are you thinking sort of third person, first person?
Yeah, I'm thinking sort of, third person Hitman style.
Yeah, okay. So you're walking around this area, around the edges of the pool or along the beach.
Yep.
And just having to really, I guess it's really just a game about observing everything around you. And
so you got binoculars?
Being aware, yeah, definitely.
You've got
a whistle.
A whistle, yep.
Got fucking awesome.
You've got a megaphone.
You've got fucking awesome abs.
Yep. Awesome, like washboard abs. Like literally, you've got some guy who runs a laundry going, I need to get you with my laundry so I can use your abs as a washboard.
That has very different connotations depending on if you pick male or female lifeguard. That could just be really creepy. I mean, okay, let's be honest. It's pretty creepy either way.
Creepy.
Yeah, definitely. I like this. So I guess you literally have to swim out and save people. Do you have to get all the techniques right? Do you have to make sure you've grabbed like your little floaty? How far do we go down the sort of minutia?
All I'm seeing is, the toddler pool and the swimming pool are like your tutorial levels on teaching you how to control your character.
Well,
and that sort of stuff.
a decent sized swimming pool is going to be pretty tough too. You're going to have a lot of people in a small space, and you really have to determine whether some kids are just roughhousing or if that fucking scrawny 13-year-old is drowning in the deep end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
it builds up, though. Like, the beach is going to be hard because it's a much larger area and people are more spread out, but...
See, I watched Bondi Rescue a little while ago, and I'm just imagining, like, jumping onto one of the ATV sort of vehicles and just zooming down the beach.
Oh, yeah.
With the, running out into the surf to save that
Going
one,
out on your fucking
person.
jet ski to get far enough out there. Or your speedboat.
You've got a radio because there's other people that maybe are doing stuff and
well, you probably can't do it all by yourself. Is that what you mean? You can radio for help or something.
So either you got AI or friends can get in and
co-op life saving. Yes,
co-op life saving.
And if you get at least 4 people together, then there's a mode where if you all hit Y at the same time, then you get to run down the beach in slow motion.
Okay, so they definitely have to be wearing like red.
Yeah, of course.
Red shorts and the girls
one pieces
have to be wearing the
Tasteful,
single piece
tasteful.
red. Tasteful. None of the girls have Pamela Anderson size boobs because that just doesn't happen. They're really, really fit women.
Well, yeah. Or at the very least, they just have the right swimsuits that they don't fucking bounce around dangerously and put an eye out.
But I'm just imagining, the awesome like surf mechanics that you gotta be.
Yeah.
By the time you're getting into the surf, you're actually having to read the waves.
Yeah,
and that
definitely.
Sort of stuff.
Like swim into them at the right times and duck under the
so
water.
As you're going into bigger waves, you got to be able to choose whether you're going to go over the top of the waves or go through the wave.
And beneath it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
that's cool.
I really quite like this idea.
The occasional shark. You have to clear the beach.
Yeah, occasional shark. You've got
jellyfish stings.
You've got jellyfish stings, so therefore you got first aid stuff that you got to do.
Piss on their leg. I know that's an old wives' tale.
You got to judge the sandcastle competition every now and again.
Yeah, you also just got to make sure not to like make kids cry by running over their sandcastles as you go to save someone. It's like, just take the 2 seconds. They're going to be fine for 2 more seconds to just avoid that epic sandcastle.
And you know what? On your days off, you can just get into the surf and catch
swim,
wave after wave
and
back into the back into land.
Yeah. It's sandbox mode.
I like it.
That's cool.
Literal sandbox.
Yeah. Are there sandcastle building mechanics in there too?
Yeah, the sandcastle building mechanics in the sandbox mode.
Awesome.
I love
That's
it.
Cool.
3, 2, 1, click.
Winding.
Ledger.
To go with the actual word ledger, in sort of accounting terms, seems really boring. So I'm thinking it's some sort of platforming game where you are the person who makes ledgers. You are a ledger. And so you have to sort of winding back and forth, creating the ledgers that the person needs to jump upon. So maybe it's like a real-time multiplayer Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there were aspects of that in one of the Wii U Mario games, weren't there? Where you could place,
yes,
or Rayman. No, Rayman or something did it too.
Yeah, but they also did it.
They did do it in Mario.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii U or whatever it was.
So maybe a whole game that's based around those mechanics, where like literally the only ledgers you can stand on are ones created by the person who has like a tablet or something.
So to make it harder, do they have to remember that puzzle in Monkey Island 2 where you had the two oars that you had to like pick up the oar, put it in the next hole, climb up onto it, pick up the or that you were previously standing on, move into the next one. So you got X number of platforms and you have to like
recycle them.
Recycle them. So, you got to grab the first lot and move them forward. Obviously you don't just have two, but you can set up a few in advance.
But there's things that can,
when you get into a certain point.
But maybe there's things that can damage them or destroy them as well. And so you might find yourself running low to the point where maybe you've literally got one platform. So as soon as they jump off it, you have to move it and put it under where they're going to land. Until you get to a point where like there'll be points where you can like regain some back or something.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's
neat.
I like that
a lot.
You could add in different platform types too, right? Like maybe you've got some that are bouncier, some that I don't know, some that shift, some that are moving platforms or something. You can you can maybe just quickly drag the path for them or something that you have to use in certain situations because you can't get the other platform over there soon enough or something. And you have to. I can imagine this being one of those games where two people could get really pissed off at each other because the person playing the character thought they were going to put down a bouncy one and they put down a regular flat one, and so they just like did a ton.
They didn't hit the jump button again.
Well, they just did a tiny little. They did a little jump, but it didn't take them as high as they were expecting, so they just jumped down into the gaping maw of some bizarre creature that they were trying to get past.
I like
That's
it.
Cool.
So systems that it can go on.
The Wii U.
The Wii U, and I think multiplayer, like multiple switches.
Multiple switches, yeah.
Yeah. So it has to be done in handheld mode. So you got the tablet, touchscreen stuff going. But I think that works.
I mean, yeah. I guess it's because you need the touch stuff. You couldn't really just do multiplayer on a computer with them. I guess you could play with the mouse, but it's probably not going to give you quite the same sort of thing.
This is the first time that someone's actually developed a proper app for like an iPad
that actually
use on the other
hooks up to something else properly. Yeah, real time.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Via Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's really an untapped sort of area, isn't it? They never quite got... I think they just didn't open it up well enough to be able to make games where one person's on an iPad and one person's on a computer or something. Because I feel like there's so much you could do there. And I mean, it's all the sort of stuff that the Wii U had available to it, but that's such a waste. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Shall we click again?
Yes, we shall. 3, 2, 1, click.
Saltier.
Spouse.
Saltier spouse. Okay. Saltier spouse. Now, are we talking about the spice, the mineral, I guess?
No.
Or are we talking about saltiness in this sort of the way someone is
In sort of
is being a bit salty? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking the idea of maybe your spouse is a sea captain.
Well, then that's got. I'm not thinking. No, I mean people use salty to just mean
salty sea dog.
Yeah, I know, but that comes from. I mean, I guess so, but that sort of just comes from the salt of the
I'm
ocean.
just imagining
right?
a vulgar sea captain.
Yeah, I guess vulgarity or okay, all right. How do you? So you're in a marriage or a relationship with someone, and you just wish they were a little bit saltier. They're just not salty enough for you.
Your wife, the sea captain, is just too. She's too, nice.
She's too bland.
So you're trying to help her get a little bit more saltier.
Okay, all right. Wait, is this because? Okay, so. Is this to help her sea captain career? She just can't get a promotion from.
No, so she's a sea captain, but the crew doesn't respect her.
Right. Okay. All right. Now this is going in the direction that we could actually come up with some sort of gameplay. So she's the captain of, presumably at the beginning, a relatively small vessel. There's only one other crew member, and that crew member doesn't respect her, and it's you. Or maybe it's you, I don't know, your kid. It's just like the family boat. She really has these aspirations to be a sea captain. You're starting off small, but the main criteria is just saltiness. So how do you rough her up? I guess it's sort of a level of roughing her up of her being a bit coarse or a bit crass or being, I don't know, what is, it's kind of hard to define salty in this context.
Maybe, and this is because it's a game. The more salt you add to her diet, the saltier that she gets.
Yeah, that could be an aspect, I suppose. So is it actually just a cooking game? But set on a boat.
It's Cooking Mummy. It's Cooking Mama.
But set on a boat, so you really have to take account for the waves. Don't lose your eggs off the table because you went over a wave and the boat tipped. And actually, I kind of like that idea of almost an action-based cooking game where you have those sorts of challenges. I mean, I guess Overcooked did it in a way, but I'm thinking more like first-person, a single person playing.
VR.
Yeah, VR definitely makes sense because then you could fucking reach out and catch that egg before it drops. That'd feel good.
And you know what else comes with it?
Seasickness?
Well, I was going to say, it comes with a free bucket.
Trevor Scott peripheral. Really need a sting.
I'm so going to cut that because that's a callback to an episode that
it will have aired.
Was a few weeks ago.
That's okay. People who are hardcore Bitstormers will know that.
It's from the one time that you did it tonight.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep doing it. It's a running joke, man. We've got to get someone to make an actual sting for it. Trevor Scott, custom peripheral. There you go.
Except it doesn't actually help in the game. It's just literally for the seasickness that you're inevitably
Most of the peripherals
get.
you talk about don't help you in the game. Fucking eye joysticks.
Fuck you. Eye joysticks were awesome.
That was your first one, I think. That was the first. Trevor Scott custom peripheral. There's a couple you can use. All right. No, I like this. I like this first-person VR cooking game. I guess. See, we want to stick with a boat, I guess, but I feel like now it's ripe for just adding different sorts of challenges to cooking in different environments. But I don't know. Let's start with boats. Let's start with the challenges of being on a boat. Obviously, the swaying of the boat. If you're doing a level where you're cooking on deck, then you have to make sure not too much salt water gets in your food because you don't want it too salty. Like it still has to be edible for her. So you just have to get just the right amount of salt water. And I mean, obviously a lot of challenge just comes from cooking in VR is going to have its challenges physically, putting the right ingredients in the right amount in the right order, mixing things, stirring things. Those are the same thing. Shaking things, kneading things.
Doing cutting up of like
things,
carrots and stuff like that. And
get some pro techniques going. Super fast cutting.
Oh, but it actually has, if you get too close and you haven't got your fingers in the right position, you can cut your fingers.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you've got to deal with, blood in the food.
Well, there's salt in that too. Like blood's kind of salty. You just it's all about salt. Well, and as you get to later levels where she's taken command of larger ships, you get pirates. And so you're cooking away, and if a pirate gets too close, you have to grab your knife, throw it at them. Just make sure that you can finish this meal. That's very important. Family dinner tonight. We're making mushroom risotto, and you can't fuck this up.
Cool.
No matter how many pirates.
3, 2, 1, click.
Hygienic.
Cove.
Okay. Cove. What's a cove? Like, I think of kind of like a little bay, like a little, I think pirates again, actually. But yeah, okay. It is a small type of bay or coastal inlet. Hygienic. I feel like it'd be hard to clean. Maybe it's about pollution.
Yep. I was just about to go there.
It's this small town on this cove, and the big corporation has built a factory right next to it, and it's polluting it. What's the gameplay? Where do we go from there? That's the sort of setup for it.
So your early levels are like cleaning off the animals themselves. So you've got maybe seabirds and that sort of stuff that have got themselves covered in an oily residue that you've got to clean.
And everyone you clean up joins your army.
Why not? I'm just imagining maybe seeing some sharks, and you got to clean up the shark, and then you got land sharks.
Land sharks
that come with you.
Definitely. The birds carry them, throw them. Just like pick them up like fucking giant missiles and drop them on the evil corporate entities. Yeah. Corporations are people now, right? It could just be the personification of the corporation. But maybe, yeah, okay. It's an Eco the Dolphin sequel. Maybe you play as an animal in this cove, and you're trying to help out the people by stopping the pollution. Eco the Dolphin were all like, it's called fucking Eco. Eco-friendly, right?
Wasn't it Echo the Dolphin? As in ECCO?
Well, I always pronounce it Eco, but it could have been Echo. I guess that makes sense too with all the whole, like, what's it called? Sonar shit.
Yeah, but it's not spelled the same
No,
way
it's
as
not.
Echo,
But if it was pronounced Echo, then presumably it was maybe supposed to relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go through
He just didn't like that one. He just couldn't take it anywhere.
Can't think of anything else.
All right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Wait, now I'm looking up Echo the Dolphin. No, okay. 3, 2, 1, click. Cereal.
Shirting.
So you're Tony Abbott, shirt-fronting Vladimir Putin. Fucking, I hate that term. It's so stupid. And particularly for politicians to use. Fuck off, Abbott. I know you're not even Prime Minister anymore. Fuck off further. Take Turnbull with you. Jesus Christ. Now I'm mad. All right, cereal. Shirting cereal. By the way, cereal with a C.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Breakfast
Ooh, I
cereal
was thinking
style.
the others.
No. So no, you can't be a cereal shirter. This is something about breakfast foods. Maybe it's maybe it's a surgeon simulator type game, but you're having to feed a child and make sure you don't get any on their shirt or your shirt.
Ooh, God, that's really, really hard.
Yeah, we both know. We have kids. I kind of originally thought VR, but then that's almost too easy. I feel like you need to have some disconnect in the controls.
Yep. QWOP.
Yeah, we go to that. We go to the Quap hole a lot, but the Quap hole. Don't talk about my Quap hole. The Quap well, I meant a lot, but yeah, basically that sort of disconnect in the controls. Feeding a child, you have to like, here comes the airplane. You have to make a good enough airplane sound that they'll take it. Otherwise, they just like whack it away and you fail because, whoops, you got a drop of cereal on your shirt. And like it was Wheat Bix. That shit fucking doesn't come off easy. I don't know if you've ever tried to put Wheat Bix bowls crusted with Wheat Bix in the dishwasher.
Yeah, it solidifies into like a cement-like
substance
material that you need a hammer and chisel.
So that's the next part. It's just not only feeding your kid, it's then doing the dishes.
So I'm imagining dessert. You could even get, those squeezy tubes and, have to squeeze the food onto the spoon.
Right, but you can't squeeze.
And then get the spoon into the
you can't
face.
squeeze too hard because it'll go everywhere. But, it's not easy to keep those severely analog controls in check. Whoops.
Severely digital controls, isn't it? It's like,
well, Quap is, but I'm thinking more, Surgeon Simulator, I guess Surgeon Simulator is somewhat digital as well. You've just got a lot more. You're kind of doing each finger. But I guess I'm thinking, I don't know, having to squeeze the triggers or something or move the thumbsticks to squeeze out the dessert onto the spoon. Controlling your fucking thumb and forefinger to like squeeze it.
Oh, and when you squeeze like one of those damn pouches, like you've got to get all the food out of the corners.
Yeah. So it's not just squeezing; it's like really moving. It's squeezing as you move your hand from the bottom to the top to push all the food out the top. Because you lose scores for food wastage. Whether it stays in the tube or whether it gets on the shirt, or the floor. And then there's a mopping up game afterwards. all the food that fell on the floor. And just to keep this going, then there's a get your fucking baby to sleep game. Because this is just Ben's evening game every night.
No, the hard level is that you got to feed two at the same time.
Again, Ben's evening. All right.
3, 2, 1, click. Tombstone.
Spindly.
So I'm going to say it's actually based in the Old West.
Okay, I was wondering where. I was
kind of like
like the Western Tombstone as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's Tombstone done. Spindly.
It's the Wild West, but everyone is Slender Man.
Oh fuck!
No, that's dumb.
And scary as all fuck. Until you realise that every single person is Slender Man. That's just Dave.
It's just Slender Dave. All right.
There's Slender Bartender.
Slender Bartender.
Slender Lady of the Night.
Slender Brenda.
Slender Sheriff.
There ain't enough room for two of us in this town. Well, we're pretty skinny. Okay, you can stay. Slender Bill.
Okay.
So we're sticking with the Wild West at least? Like the Old West?
Yeah,
right.
I like the Wild West.
All right. Wicka Wild West. Spindly. Maybe you have one of those. Maybe you have one of those giant spider robots. They're spindly
I was actually
legs.
thinking going with the second definition that I read
Okay.
here. Weak or insubstantial in construction.
Okay, so it's some sort of building construction game.
So it's kind of like a Wild West construction game.
Okay.
In which you play a carpenter who doesn't have access to many
nails. So it's kind of like Polybridge in that you've got limited materials and it's all physically simulated. You have to
and so
yeah.
So maybe you're not just building buildings, but you're also doing like chairs and tables and that sort of stuff as well. Like but you've only got like 5 nails to do 13 pieces of equipment. 13 chairs. It's like, ooh.
And you have to. Well, it really is a resource management game. Depending on what events are coming up and what different things need to be built, you have to pull apart previous pieces of furniture or buildings. So it's like, oh, there's a big event at the saloon tonight, so we need at least 13 chairs. All right, we've got to take apart the west wing of the clock tower of the town hall to make sure we've got enough nails, because the nail delivery isn't for another week.
You get tasked with making a new jail cell, so you
Oh, God, okay.
so
Yep.
you're like taking bolts out of like Big Jim's wagon just to
You just see his wagon like dragging along the ground, this fucking poor horse.
one of the wagon wheels just go flying off to the side.
Knocks down the east wing of the town hall.
It's like, God damn it!
Should have put that one extra nail in. I like this. And when good old Freddy the Kid comes into town, shoots things up, the whole town just fucking falls to pieces. Whoops! One stray bullet. There goes the whole left side of the street.
So I'm just trying to think
slowly.
of what other materials like they would have had in the Wild West, because I mean, wood comes from trees, obviously, but in the desert there's not that many trees. So where was he getting all the wood?
Presumably there was just trade and stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
wagons bringing wood and nails and booze. I don't know.
Wonder where they got all the leather from. They have to, like sneak out into the cattle field, and
There you go. You got to build fucking cattle fences. That's an important one.
Oh yeah, but it's to keep the rustlers out. But you need leather, so you need to get in there and like kill one or two every now and again, just to cure the leather and help make those leather chairs.
Yeah, well, you can make like leather tie, like ropes out of them to tie things together when you run out of nails. Yeah.
So it's really resource based.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got you got to take your time, because you got to let the cattle breed, so that you've got more leather for down the line.
Yeah, I think as you go, you do get deliveries of things, or maybe you have to, like, you get paid for your work, so you have to buy more stuff as the traveling salesman comes into town.
Nails are very, very hard to get.
Definitely. Or maybe you can, maybe you encourage Freddy the Kid to come into town, because you get to like pry his bullets out of the wall, melt them down, and make nails from them. It's like, oh shit, Mayor Johnson got shot. Can I just get that bullet once you do the autopsy? Or whatever. I guess they don't need to do an autopsy if you just got shot in the head, but I like it. That's cool. Yeah, you could, well, because that's the thing. Yeah. As your resources build over time, then you get to keep more buildings up at any one point. You don't have to be taking apart as many old ones. And that brings more people to your town. That brings more business. Like, maybe it's basically you're building this town from scratch, but yeah, like having to manage the resources between the different buildings. I guess this person's just really fast at building as well.
Anytime that you want.
Yeah, well, I guess this person's just really fast at building too, because it's like, we really need like the saloon to be up because there's an important person coming to town. So let's just take apart the town hall for today.
And then maybe it actually tells the real story as to why saloon doors are so short.
Yeah, and they only have one hinge each. They're just
they only go one way.
No, they're just kind of flopping off. Like you try to do the big dramatic walk into the saloon and slam the doors open, and the doors just
goes.
Yeah, that's a bit oiled. No, I'm just thinking like they're only hanging from one top hinge or something, so it just the one door sort of just falls off, and the other, yeah. I don't know.
Because when you said one hinge, I was thinking, has got the dual hinge so it can swing both ways.
Oh, I see.
I was thinking one hinge, it just opens in. It doesn't swing back.
The guy tries to make a dramatic exit after a big showdown in the bar, and oh shit, it's a pull, not a push. Should really put a sign on this.
Okay, I think that'll do us.
Oh yeah, shit. All right, that's cool. Back to Canada with me.
Thank you for joining us today on Bitstorm. You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are Bitstormcast on all those. Find us on iTunes. We'd really love it if you could rate, review, and subscribe to us there. We've also got a website, bitstormcast.com. We'd like to thank Kuradust for our theme song, Mount Defiance, off of the album Containment Failure. Ben's been working on a website, Podchaser, so feel free to check that out using the beta key Bitstorm and give this episode and all our other episodes and podcasts a bit of a rating on there as well. We'd also like to say hello to all our fellow AGPN podcasts out there. Check them out on Twitter by following the hashtag AGPN, or on Facebook, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. And I've been Trevor Scott, and Ben has been Ben Slinger, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Bitstorm.